In chapter 1, I briefly introduce how to move around your cursor within a table. For example, if we select a cell within a kind of table, and if it's really long and huge data, then it's a little bit difficult to move your cursor to the end of this column or the row, right? But in that case, use this shortcut is very handy. Control arrow, for example, control and right arrow, then it just jump to the last cell in this table, and control down arrow, control down arrow will go to the next one. Now, why it doesn't go to the last cell when I hit control down? It only go there because there is an empty space, right? So let me do the same thing here. Control down, then it's go all the way to the end, right? In here, control down will giving us this one, right? So within a table, if there is an empty space, whatever, these shortcuts move our selected cell to the last one just before any empty one. And for example, if we have that and control down again, then it goes to the next cell which has some kind of contents in there, right? So if you have a long many cells adjacent each other, kind of empty cells adjacent each other, then if you use control down, then it goes to the first cell which has some contents, right, which is not empty. Now, not only that, if you use control shift arrow keys, then it's actually selecting all of them from there. So in here, control shift down will select all these cells. If you start from the middle, control shift down, selecting that much cells like that. So if you want to select the whole table, then control shift right arrow and control shift down arrow. By that way you can select whole data. Of course, if you just select any cell and control shift number 8 key will select the rectangular shape of table at once, but you can do a couple of times with that to select all of them. So this is very handy to handle all these table style data. Now, to do this homework, the task is to make that kind of simple calculator, like a 23 plus 46 79, right? So if you don't put down any number in any cell, it's not going to show the results, right? So you have to put some condition, like if statement here to do that, okay? But key point is we want to make this kind of simple calculator. Now, just imagine you can make this whole space like this, right? So there is no headers, right? No names for the columns and rows, right? And no lines, grid lines, and even it doesn't show any cells here, right? And you can you cannot select any other cells except these two, okay? Not even this, right? So you don't know what the formula is in there, okay? So you can choose only these two, and there is no grid lines and no headers, something like that. So in this chapter we already covered that part, right? To hide these headers, right? So the key point is how we select it, right? Because usually we can only hide some of these, right? So right click after selected, then you can choose hide, right? Let me do that like that, so you can see there is a missing stuff, right? So if you want to unhide it, so select this much, right click and unhide it, you can see all of them. But how can you remove all of them? You can guess, right? Just select anything which you don't want to show after that, and control shift right key will select all these columns, right? It's a huge number of columns, right? And right click, hide. Why not, right? You're not going to see anything here. And how about this, right? Select this column using header and control shift down, and then many column rows there, and right click in any place and hide it, then by that way it looks like you just remove these unnecessary columns and rows and showing only remaining necessary parts here. And you can hide these grid lines, right? And you can hide these headers, so by that you can make it. And of course you can change the colors of cells by that, and you can unlock certain cells only, right? And protect that worksheet will show like this. So please try to your best to show this much. Some information you still need to do this, but at least you can show this kind of style, right? So that is going to be your homework in here.